Welcome one and all. I am Dhananjay Pise, working as assistant professor in Department of Engineering Sciences of AISSMS Institute of Information Technology Pune. Today we are going to see the topic from Systems in Mechanical Engineering subject for first year engineering student as Introduction to Boiler. Boilers are also called as steam generators. Basically, chemical energy of the fuel is converted into the heat energy in combustion chamber, and then this heat energy is transferred to the water to convert it into the steam. And this high pressure, high temperature is steam is used for next further application. The uses of the steam is for the electricity generation, process of heating in industrial processes such as sugar, chemical, fertilizers, dairy industry. Then steam is also used in the miscellaneous applications such as steam bath, cleaning and sterilization in the hospitals, in the hotels, in the laundry, etc. The classification of the boilers is based on the relative position of water and flue gases. So based on this, it is classified as water tube boiler and fire tube boiler. Second type of classification is on the fuel used in the fuel chamber, coal, oil or gas boilers. Then circulation inside the boiler for water or the flue gases, that is natural and artificial circulation. Then depends upon the pressure of steam generated. It is classified as low pressure boilers, medium pressure boilers and high pressure boilers. So with the help of the low pressure boiler, we can generate a steam of 17.5 bar. Medium pressure boilers can generate the steam from 17.5 to 80 bar pressure. Then high pressure boilers can produce the steam of more than 80 bar pressure. Then last classification is depends upon the installation. That means stationary boilers or portable boilers or package tube boilers. First one is the fire tube and water tube boiler. Here we can see the diagram of fire tube boiler. The furnace wherein the fuel is used for producing the heat energy. Next, we have the boiler wherein hot water is there. Then these tubes are there for circulation of hot gases, and then here we have the out for the hot gases, and at the other end or the top end of the boiler is having the steam outlet. When the flue gases are passing through these tubes, the heat energy from these flue gases will be transferred to the water, and water will be converted into the steam. The steam will occupy the space of the top side inside the boiler, and from the steam outlet we can take it out for next further application. So here in the fire tube boiler, flue gases are passed through the tubes inside the boiler. Here we have the smokestack from where we can take out the smokes. In water tube boiler, the combustion chamber is inside the boiler. We have here the water tank. Water inlet will be passed through the combustion chamber. Now water will be passed through these tubes, and because of these flue hot gases, water will be converted into the steam, and at the top side of the boiler we are having the steam outlet from where we can take out the steam. The difference between fire tube and water tube boiler is that we are passing the water through the tubes in the water tube boiler, whereas in the fire tube boiler flue gases are passed through the tubes inside the boiler. So we'll see the basic difference between fire tube boiler and water tube boiler. In the fire tube boiler, hot gases are flowing through the tubes which are surrounded by the water, whereas in the water tube boiler, water is flowing through the tubes surrounded by the hot gases. In fire tube boiler, heat transfer rate is depends upon the contact surface area, which is very less, whereas in the water tube boiler, heat transfer rate is depends upon the contact surface area, and here in this case it is the large as compared to the fire tube boiler. The steam generation rate is less in the fire tube boiler, whereas steam generation rate for the water tube boiler is high. Thermal efficiency of fire tube boiler is less, whereas water tube boiler is comparatively on the higher side. Fire tube boilers are used for medium pressure application, whereas water tube boilers can be used for the high pressure applications. The small of the size of the fire tube boiler is small and it requires less floor space, whereas water tube boilers are large and complex and it requires more space. Transportation of fire tube boiler is difficult due to large shell diameter. Comparatively, water tube boilers are easier for transportation because of the smaller diameter. Fire tube will not be choked easily, hence maintenance and operative cost is less, whereas water tube boilers can be choked because of the salt or mud deposited inside the tubes. Hence it requires more maintenance and operative cost is also on the higher side. Circulation of water inside the fire tube boiler is poor, whereas in water tube boiler it is better comparative to fire tube. Less skilled operators are enough for the operation and control of fire tube boiler, whereas we require skilled workers for the water tube boilers. Example of fire tube boiler is a Cochrane boiler, whereas example of water tube boiler is a Babcock and Wilcox boiler. So this is the basic classification and the difference between the fire tube and water tube boiler. Thank you.